Welcome to the Why Does My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met at a training, and our secret sauce is that we and our partners became fast friends. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for couples therapy. If something you hear in this podcast stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com to leave a question of your own. Here's today's question.
Welcome back. I'm Jules.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Rebecca. And once again, we have Ann Kelley, one of the hosts from Therapists Uncensored and authors of Secure Relating, with us for this mini-series. We're so glad you're here, Ann.
I'm so glad to be here. I've had so much fun. I can't wait to do another question.
I know. It's so fun to have you. So today's question is, why does my partner feel better after unloading their discontent on me and feel lighter knowing that I feel badly?
Oof.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think first I wonder how they know that their partner feels badly, and I wonder that because this is me to Gabe.
Okay.
I unload on him.
And then if he feels badly, do you feel lighter?
I don't know no. And I
Okay.
don't know if he feels badly. So that's why I'm saying I wonder how they
Gotcha.
know. The one thing I do know is a couple times he has started to push back of like, I can't listen to this right now. And more than a couple times probably. And that used to like, not offend me, but like in my head, I was like, and I don't have a partner who can listen. And I don't have a partner who's supportive. And then I finally realized more recently, the past couple months, like maybe I am a lot of energy coming at him sometimes. And maybe it's okay that when I really want to vent, I go in the bedroom and journal or yell to the walls. But like, I am a lot of energy coming at him sometimes. So I'm trying to rein that in for his sake. But so sometimes he has vocalized that he feels badly. And I stop. So I don't feel better. But it's, that was my only question is, do you know that
Do you know that your partner actually feels badly, or is that part of a story that you're making up?
Thank you. That was the only part. And because I was feeling a little bit too, that was me in that question. So.
Yeah. And we're not sure. And a couple that I've worked with is coming to my mind. And in this couple, one of the partners absolutely was attempting to make the other one feel badly.
Oh, so it does happen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And was really clear about it and felt better and lighter only when the bad feelings happened. And that was the end then of the unloading the discontent. So that is a thing.
Okay.
It's like a power over, power under thing, right? If like one partner is feeling all the discontent and not feeling so great, and they move into the place of unloading, that makes them perhaps feel more empowered in that moment. And then when their partner feels badly, that helps them kind of substantiate okay, I have more power here.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
I love that because you're distinguishing between empowerment, right, versus power. I love that because like sometimes when I unload, I do feel a lot better, but it isn't because my partner feels bad. It's because unloading literally does release you, right? When you get people like think, I don't want to be mad. That's not true. Sometimes we can get off on being mad, not because we consciously want to, but we're all stored up. And when we get to unload, it's a relief, but it doesn't actually make me feel better when I realize that she feels bad, but I still feel relief, but it isn't because of that. And so I think what I hear you saying, Rebecca, there's like this empowering to be able to say, this is what makes me mad.
Yeah.
But if it can move into a power over position, if it's, I need you to feel really bad.
I will only feel better when you feel worse. Right? Like if it's, I will only feel better when you feel worse. That's different than there's something that really doesn't feel okay in here, and I need to give voice to it, because in my expression of it, that's a different kind of empowerment than I feel better when you feel worse.
Mm-hmm. And I've worked with folks who they weren't aware of it first, but when we dug in and sort of felt into the space, there was a lot of longing for more fairness.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel terrible. And now if you feel terrible, it like writes the scales of justice in my subconscious brain.
Yeah.
That could be part of it.
That makes some sense. Okay.
And another piece is, I think sometimes we're wanting to communicate to people how badly we feel. So when you feel bad, now I know I got through to you. Now I know you do know.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you're experiencing what I experienced. So now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a great plan relationally, by the way.
Understanding the why behind it.
But you understand.
I mean, that's the question, right? Why does my partner? We're answering that first, and then we'll give you some skills on the other side of this.
I do love that the question is why. I like that, to point that out. Why does my partner feel better after unloading discontent? Like if we just think about that from a biosocial nervous system perspective, when you're really upset and you're stored up and you release it, there is a release physiologically in your body that brings relief. And I like what you were saying, that they may feel very caught if you feel bad. And I wonder, when we're saying that knowing I feel badly was different, like if the person feels badly because, she's feeling badly because she really feels like I did something wrong and I just heard that you were upset, then that's very satisfying. Like, I feel bad that I did that. You're right. That could be very satisfying. But it's not because you're feeling bad. I think it's almost like she's, I'm saying she. It may not be a she.
There's something here. Like I'm hearing a nuance in listening to you here, and I'm picking up on something that I want to name. And it's like, it might not be that my partner feels better, feels lighter knowing that I feel badly. It could be that there's something about my partner feels better when I find remorse, when I feel into the
I just heard that too. Thank you, Ann, with what you said. Rebecca, thank you for naming it. Yeah, because like when I was saying at the beginning about me unloading on Gabe, I'm talking about times I'm unloading on him that have nothing to do with him. When I'm just like venting and yelling at him, but like not, or to whichever one, but like it's not about us. And I mean, sometimes people are unloading when it is about the partner, but and I did not think about that side of like the remorse. Rebecca, thank you for naming that word.
That's different, because I'm thinking like, we might not all be tuning into it the same way, even inside of a relationship. In a moment, two people might not be feeling it the same, but man, when I'm in a moment with my partner and we're rumbling with something, and he says something to me and I feel it and I go, oh gosh, I wish I didn't do that thing.
Yeah.
Right? That helps so much.
That's so true. And it's not always easy to do that, is it?
No.
Because like sometimes, oftentimes when like we're having a rumble and you're hearing, I'm upset because you did A, B, and C, or A, B, and C happened and you should like, and then I'm like thinking, but wait, that's not right. If you knew the truth, if you knew what actually happened, you wouldn't be mad anymore. So just stop. Let me correct that so you won't be mad. Why waste all that energy?
Totally. Yeah.
So if somebody actually gets to actually, you have it wrong, and certainly you have no reason to be mad. If you would just let me interrupt you and tell you right now why you're wrong, then you have no reason to be upset.
Right.
So we know how that goes. So sometimes I think if you're able to get it all out, even if you're just able to get it all out, and maybe I'm the one there stuck feeling badly because I had to tolerate you getting it all out, but 2 or 3 of those things were inaccurate and I didn't correct it, then the other person's still going to feel better because we got to release it. And that can be a really empowering thing to do.
Yeah. But then there's the vulnerability on the side of the person who was listening. right? The person who's writing this question in who feels badly. Maybe part of what we're also naming inside of the feeling badly is the vulnerability of listening.
That's a really good point.
Especially if we listen without trying to change anything.
Yeah.
It's really hard to listen to pain and not attempt to change it. And it can be a deep offering, a grace that you give someone to hear them out.
Interesting. An offering.
And to hold a bit of the pain without trying to change it, without trying to make it better. Because a lot of times, especially if we rush into that, it can feel like, oh, you don't really care about I'm not being upset. You just want me to shut up. And now your apology feels like placation. Right? So I don't know if that may be something that's happening. We have no idea. But I've also seen lots of couples where, oh my gosh, this person has said the thing and said the thing. And it's been going there. We're at time 5 now, saying the thing over again. It feels like they're wanting to provoke something. The partner said sorry. It even looked authentic on my couch in front of me. And gosh, we're just still going. And so I also think there's sometimes a habit, and sometimes that's learned from modeling, from what we grew up with, about, the way to discharge unpleasant feelings is to kind of vomit it up and hand it to somebody else. Or sometimes you have experiences where someone kind of had a habit of expressing emotions in sort of that out loud, big discontent way until they just didn't feel bad anymore. Like they ran themselves out of steam. And so if you're on the side of, oh, wait, this might be me, I unload my discontent until they look like they feel bad. Or they may think it's that, even though it's not. I just may be running myself out. It may be helpful to be thinking about, ooh, when I do this, what is the impact on you?
Oh.
Yes. Like what you were doing, Vicki, like you're having that meta level thought.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, for some of us, when we're feeling upset, we feel like we need to do it right then, right now, and with somebody. Right. And it could feel that pressure almost. And I like that you said that about Jules throwing up. I like to say like, okay, well, you throw up and then you feel better, but then your partner's going, what? Now they're holding your whole day. And you were so kind and reflective to go, oh, wait, how is this? To be able to reflect and go, that might be a lot on his body. And maybe I could do something else. You're not going until he feels bad. You're just trying to get a connection and a relief. And then if you do, it does feel better. But if your partner's feeling bad, it may be that you're not being able to think of them, like what you're saying, what's happening on the other end of it. Yeah.
I'm so curious, Anne. I'm sitting here thinking about your new book that's coming out, Secure Relating. And I'm wondering from the perspective of offering the sweet listener some just like another way of doing this kind of dynamic, right? With something that kind of helps them to relate more securely. What kind of maybe U-turn they could do on their side, or what would feel right,
or what they could request.
Yeah,
that's a great question. It's interesting. I feel like the question itself is a secure relating question, right?
Yeah.
Like, because they're asking why. Like they're exploring it. We don't know what the answer is. We all just like, we don't know because we don't know either one of them or what's actually happening. But the other part of the title of the book is holding your own in an insecure world. But the holding your own is she or he. I keep saying she, and we don't know if it's she. What is that assumption? So they, they are feeling this experience of seeing this dynamic happen, and they're reflecting on it, right? And I love that. So I think the thing about it with this dynamic is being able to, what you said, Jules Ealer, just stop and reflect is such the most important part of being able to hold yourself and then to meta-communicate about this dynamic. But I also wonder too about the self, like I find myself curious, unloading their discontent on me. Like the unloading word sticks out to me.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't feel very, that they don't feel collaborative in that, right? They feel like being dumped on. So I find myself curious about that. And if they could talk through that about, is it a particular fight? Is it all the time? Like I find myself having more questions to explore and then to understand, like maybe your partner is somebody who lives a little bit more in the red, that, or the preoccupied, who needs to express themselves. And that release is not about unloading on you to make you feel badly, but it's because their nervous system feels nervous. And one thing that happens sometimes is we can unintentionally not give feedback along the way. And especially if somebody lives more in the red, they need to be reflected back some, or they need to feel connection. But if it's just going one way and I'm telling you all that's going on with me, and I don't feel that the person on the other side is actually showing signs of connection. Oh, I see your point. Oh, that must be hard. Oh, tell me more. Or, wow, I'm really here with you, but I'm finding my body get overwhelmed. I mean, all of those are an indication I see you. And I think sometimes what happens is if we don't feel seen, especially if we live in the red, we go further and we say more and we get louder. And then the other person could feel like that I'm just doing that on my own. But in reality, I could be co-regulating and responding, that I'm not getting enough feedback from the other side. I'm not getting enough care. I don't feel seen.
We hope you're all enjoying this mini-series with our special guest, Ann Kelley from the Therapist Uncensored podcast, and also one of the authors of the new book, Secure Relating, Holding Your Own in an Insecure World.
You can find that book wherever your books are sold, and we're so excited to have her here. We hope you are enjoying her weighing in on your questions, and make sure you check out her book, Secure Relating.
Hey folks, this is Rebecca. I'm just popping in to let you know that while we were recording this session, there was something weird going on with Ann's alarm. And it keeps going off for a while. I think we've done a pretty good job getting most of the beeps out of this recording. But for those of you with hearing or other sensitivities, I just want to let you know that there may be some occasional sharp beeps while Ann is talking. And we wanted to give you a heads up about that before you just keep listening. Yeah. I think that escalation is the thing, right?
Yeah, the escalation is the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even if we're in secure places, it's not even just red. We escalate if we don't get feedback and we're upset.
Yeah.
And so sometimes if we're not getting and sometimes people don't mean to, like if you live in the blue and you're overwhelmed with it, you'll get really still-faced and quiet or withdrawn. And unfortunately, then that sends the message and so then the person keeps talking and getting hotter because they're just trying to reach you. They're just trying to have an effect. And it may not be to make you feel bad.
That's right.
It's trying to have an effect. And so when you feel bad, then I know I've reached you. I see that we've met. And so we don't know if that's what's happening, but it's just a thought.
Totally. At early points in my relationship with my husband, he would say things to me like, if I don't get loud, you won't hear me. Right. And that was when we were much younger. Yeah. We've been together for about 20 years right now. But way early in the relationship, there was stuff like that was happening. And I've seen that so often in my office.
Yeah. So if you are in a situation where this is happening and you want a tool to bring back into your partnership, here would be something to explore, probably in a meta conversation, and then to practice in real time.
Totally.
So the first meta conversation is we just track this pattern and wonder if me saying more, reflecting more would help you feel more seen. And then if the answer to that is yes, what does that actually look like? it looks like somebody venting about their day at work. I can't believe my boss said that. Oh my gosh, that must have been so hard. Tell me again. Now, what did he say? Well, he said this and this. Oh, honey, are you okay? Well, of course I'm not okay. This is oh, it feels so bad. Oh, my heart is hurting with you, right? And so we reflect in kind of a bigger way, and it can help diffuse that a little earlier, because as somebody who's a little bit more blue, I could easily get a bit overwhelmed, go into a little bit of shutdown, and now I look like you are not getting through to me because my face is a little blank and my body's a little like,
you see yourself shrinking in the corner.
Right.
And then if I'm red, I'm going to come chase you. It's so tempting to come chase you, isn't it? Like, wait, you're not hearing me. Let me get a little louder. It's getting more intense. And so,
Oh, but then if you chase me, I'm going to shrink away more because that's going to feel threatening. Right. Like, and so like,
there it is.
There's the dynamic, right? We're now playing it out. And then if I get smaller and I shrink away more, now you have to come after, right? And so we're inside of this, unless we interrupt it by seeing it, by witnessing the pattern.
Yes.
It's just going to keep going.
I love that. And one of the things you had asked about the tools in the book is we have a visual in the book that's a spectrum with different intensities and how they relate to one another. And sometimes when you're having these meta conversations and you can say, when you do this, I move away here. And it's in other words, instead of saying when you do that, you're too much and you're causing me to withdraw.
You're using that map almost.
Yeah. You say, let's look over here. If you do this, my nervous system does this and I pull away. And then when I pull away, you get hotter and bigger. Oh, I can see that now. And now it's not this anybody's being bad. It's like for you, Jules, my nervous system gets overwhelmed.
Right.
And so then you can think about some small ways. And I can tell you a nod goes a long way. Even if you can't be as empathetic and caring, if you could just show some sign that you're actually listening. But unfortunately, if you're really blue, sometimes you start turning away and quit making an eye contact. And then really, but I also think it's important for somebody on the red in that prep stage to go, oh, wait, if I'm just going to keep going, of course I'm going to overwhelm you. And so sometimes being able to reassure yourself along this way to calm down can really help.
We can use compassion.
I'm almost wanting to
and contain it a little bit.
Yeah. I was just thinking that too. I was just thinking I wanted to sandwich these two books together, right? Setting boundaries that stick and secure relating. Gosh. I want them like both. That would what a wonderful gift that would be for folks. Because what I'm hearing in here is like, let's map it out and see where we are on this spectrum, on this map, and what's happening. And then can we use some of the tools that we talked about in our other mini-series, our last mini-series on setting boundaries, right? We had the piece around, there's a particular episode there around containing boundary practices. Well, wow, that's what we need inside of these moments when we witness where we are on this map.
And notice on the blue side of the spectrum, you use your containing boundary to put a pause between, those nervous system feelings and the looking away, the withdrawal, the shutting down, so that you could nod a little bit, so that you could say, I know it's hard sometimes to feel me, but I'm here. And on the red side, we maybe put a pause between that feeling and doing, I'm not feeling seen. Let's use that containment, a little bit of compassion. I see you. Of course you need to feel seen in this world. Let's try being a little smaller. Our partner has an easier time if I'm on the red side, if I say it a little softer. So we can use all of these tools together to really help create different relational patterns.
So that we have different ways of being with ourselves, and then we can be with each other in more collaborative ways.
Exactly.
You know what? When you talk about your book, Jules, the concept that you do about the imagery of having, whether it's a Jello wall or anything, really what's interesting about that is I find myself being able to use that with my clients whether they're blue, red, or secure.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's a different
Mm-hmm.
way that you're going to use it. If you're blue and you start imagining a jello wall, then you start absorbing some of that energy and just say, okay, I'm going to let that energy filter through this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then individuals that are red sometimes say, oh, I think of that. And I think, okay, that face that they're trying to fix me or they're trying to shut me down, I'm going to see it on that side of the jello wall, that it is something about their nervous system rather than it's I'm too much.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so sometimes that wall going, oh, wait, you have a nervous system too.
Yeah.
Is a
And they're
helpful
different.
reminder.
And they're different.
And I think your imagery in your boundary book is amazing
Oh,
for that.
Thank you. Oh, I can't. Well, here's what my hope is for our folks listening is that you go and pick up Secure Relating and you see what tools are in there and you combine them with the tools that we've been talking about here. If you need a copy of them in print, it's Setting Boundaries That Stick. And you could use them together and create new relational patterns. Yeah.
Oh. This book sounds
it's so
amazing,
delicious.
and I can't wait to read it.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing.
I already ordered the audio version, so I'm just like waiting 5 more days and it comes out. I get my audio.
Okay, now I have to tell you a little behind the scenes on the audio version. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
So the audio version is going to be me reading.
Brilliant.
So it was great to be able to have one of the authors, and because I was a podcaster, they're going to be used to hearing our voice, right? And so it was so fun reading it, but man, is it different reading than talking?
Yeah, it is.
And we had an editor that didn't know better, and he kept correcting. He, in the end, kept sending back edits so that I read exactly. And so it was really hard because I wanted to talk and not read. It's a different experience.
I feel that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That is so different. I did not get that experience. Yeah, I didn't get that experience because I didn't read mine, but I think I would have exactly the same hard time because everything I'm doing is so conversational that I would want to I would read that sentence and go, oh, wait, but I have an addendum now that we're in the audiobook. Now that I'm thinking about this out loud, let me tweak how I said that a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, and that's such the worst part too. You're reading your own book and then talk about secure relating. You have to have a secure place because you're reading your own book and then you see the mistake and you can't fix it. That happened several times. Like, no, it's supposed to say this.
I bet.
It's so painful.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
and I bet it's like such a human process too, right?
I was just thinking human.
You're emerging, even your own thoughts. You wrote the book at one time and it got edited and put into print and laid out on the page and all of that. And so you have to read those words. But even that, like your own emerging process around your own thinking and what you would write today versus what you wrote a month or a year ago, right? There's a process. And so I'm just loving all those parts of both of you from the past that have offered us these books. Thank you so much, Ann, for joining us on this
Thank you.
series.
This has been so fun. You guys are so awesome. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.
Oh, great.
It's been really fun to have you with us.
It has been. Tons of fun.
All right, you all.
Yeah.
Take care of each other best you can.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at one of our workshops. You'll find our next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you can ask us your questions?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.
And here's some gratitudes. Thanks to Al Hoberman, our sound editor and podcast production magic maker.
Thanks to every one of you who has joined us for our workshops in the past. We've learned so much from all of you.
And thanks to everyone who's reviewed the show on Apple Podcasts. Your reviews help others to find the show.
Take care of each other best you can.
See you next time.